welcome. Very good afternoon to all of you. Thanks for joining us on this special program called Inspire India, where we bring to you stories of those Good Samaritans who are helping out the poor and the needy, the underprivileged and the marginalized sections of society during the period of lockdown. While most of us are happy being at home, there are others who are not just doing that, but also looking out for others around them, those especially who are left high and dry because of the restrictions of the lockdown, who have run out of businesses because of commercial establishments shutting down. The good news is there are people looking out for them, making sure that no one goes hungry, no one feels abandoned, and no one is left behind as India surges forward in its battle against COVID-19. So for the migrant workers who are left in a state of fear and anxiety on where their next meal is coming from, these are caregivers who are preparing meals, distributing meals on a daily basis. We have three such individuals with us today in the true human spirit of caring and sharing. They are doing their bit to make sure that the poor and the needy get their daily meals delivered to them. So we have three Good Samaritans from three different locations, from Mumbai, from Ludhiana and from Bengaluru joining us this afternoon. Let me right away introduce my first guest, Bengaluru-based Mr. Shivkumar, part of an initiative called Domlur Community Kitchen that provides meals to the underprivileged in several areas of Bengaluru. This community kitchen cooks over 15,000 packets of food every day, distributes it in areas like Domlur, Indira Nagar, Thipasandra, KR Puram and Alsur. The volunteers ensure all precautions are taken before cooking and packaging. The group uses the kitchen of Sri Suryanarayan Temple to cook and pack the food. This is an initiative that was originally started by the Domlur Senior Citizens Charitable Trust and the Domlur RWA. I welcome Mr. Shivkumar to the show this afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Let me bring in my next guest, Ludhiana-based Dr. S.S. Yes, my next guest is Ludhiana-based Dr. S.S. Johl, a Padma Bhushan awardee who runs an enterprise called Dream and Beauty Charitable Trust. He is the senior advisor to the chairman and board of trustees of this particular trust, and he has been feeding around 50,000 homeless and needy people in and around Ludhiana during this lockdown period. Under an initiative called Brahm Bhog, they are giving out food to the needy in the city. I welcome Dr. Johl to this show this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My third guest this afternoon is Mumbai-based Premal Shah, founder of letsallhelp.org, a social impact venture that is helping daily wage laborers and the underprivileged during this period. Now, they are providing, again, monthly ration of rice, atta, dal, salt, sugar, and soap to about 500 needy people on a daily basis in Mumbai. 8,000 people have benefited from this initiative. They are arranging their own fleet of cars to transport the essential commodities to the needy, also giving out 5,000 cooked packed meals. I welcome you, Mr. Premal Shah. Thanks for joining us here on the show. So let me put my first question across to Mr. Shivkumar, who joins us from Bangalore today. Mr. Shivkumar, when exactly and how did you start this initiative? What has been your journey like so far? And tell us a little bit about which are the areas around Bangalore that you are catering to at the moment.
This initiative was started on 2nd itself. And today is the 26th day. We started with a small number of about 500. Then on the second day itself, it rose to 2,500. And by the fourth day, we crossed the figure of even 5,000. Now, for the past 10 days, our figures are 7,500 in the morning and again 7,500 food packets in the afternoon. This is all a very big initiative by our community teacher and initiated by one of our the great man, Mr. Krishnamurti, who is the president of Domlur Senior Citizens, the well.
Okay, right. So, all right, let me, therefore, of course, we must appreciate your efforts, the way these kind of community kitchens are catering to so many of those people who are left stranded, many of them not able to go back to their native villages, and therefore they are simply sheltered in temporary homes some Good Samaritans like Mr. Shivkumar are in fact catering to them and catering to their needs, since it's not always possible for government to cover each and every one of these migrant laborers and needy people. Ludhiana-based Dr. S.S. Johl also doing similar work in Ludhiana, again catering to the homeless and the needy. Dr. Johl, can you tell us when did your journey start? What has been your experience so far? How many people have benefited from your initiative?
Look, to be outset, I want to make it very clear that this effort, which is Brahm Bhog, we call it, is the initiative of a very noble soul, that is Anil Kumar Monga, who is in USA. He was a small-time entrepreneur here. He went there and he saw the conditions of the poor here, and he prayed to God that if you give me the capacity, I'll serve them. So he's serving since 1905. He started with 1,000 meals every lunch every day to about 1,000 people, and then by and by, before this corona came in, we were distributing about 3,500 meals daily to the helpless, homeless people, and also in the evening about 1,000 biryani packed to the sheltered areas. So we are all already doing this job for the last so many years. So this, when Corona came, COVID came, and suddenly it was a kind of a calamity, we were all prepared for it. So now we have reached about 2 crores of meals supplied so far. And for the last week, we have, since Corona started, we have distributed 11 lakh meals. And the last week only, we distributed 3,85,000, and our daily output is between 50,000 to 55,000, sometime running even to 60,000 depending upon the need. So we are well equipped for this, and in fact, this was the dream of Mr. Monga, who's a, I would call it a devta, not a man, that he wanted to help the needy. So this is we are doing. And it's Ludhiana and around, and with the help of the police, with the help of the police commissioner, we are proper care we are taking, all with masks and gloves in hands, and some food goes from here to the other areas we are serving ourselves. So then the precaution particular is that the people who come for these meals, they have to wear masks, they have to keep a social distance also. So we are taking our precautions because, and say I'm again, because at the Heavenly Palace where from this goes, we have 300 old people, senior citizens, who are vulnerable section. And also we have 44 at present, the children, destitute children, who are also vulnerable. So to keep the sanitization and is our first job. So every 3-4 days, we check our staff for the if there's any infection. So we are going perfectly on a scientific basis, and our capacity, if need be, we can expand further. But we are working at this stage to our full, and we intend to continue even after this COVID-19 is over, because the purposes of that chairman of the trust, Mr. Monga, is not to leave anybody hungry in Ludhiana, because they had seen the squalor, he had seen the conditions of the people when he was working here. They were being exploited for minor favors. So that is the objective, and God had helped him, and we are all there to help. So I'm advisor to him and to the trust, but main person behind is Mr. Anil Kumar Monga, who has a business in USA, and he has spent so much money on this, you can't even imagine.
So Brahma Bhog, that way, Dr. Johl, is catering to a very big number. In fact, as you were speaking, we were playing out pictures of your kitchen and how hygienically everything is being cooked and distributed, how people are queuing up, maintaining distance. All of that is important, and we really appreciate that you, right up to the last bit, care and precaution is being taken, something which is critical at this stage. Stay on with us, Dr. Johl. Let me also bring in my third guest. Mumbai-based Premal Shah is with us this afternoon, founder of letsallhelp.org, which is again a philanthropic venture. So, Premal Shah, I want to ask you, since you are based in Mumbai, and this is by far one of the worst affected areas across the country, around 5,000 positive cases here, and the city is full of hotspots. I want to ask you, how are you going about doing your selfless service? Which are the areas in Mumbai that you're catering to?
Yes, ma'am. So, letsallhelp.org is a venture which we launched in September end of 2019, and with a simple aim that nobody should sleep hungry and be void of basic personal hygiene. Given the current circumstances and the challenges, we are basically catering to about 5,000 people a day with daily fresh meals, and we are catering from Andheri Juhu area right up till Borivali. And we are catering to all the destitutes on the road, the BMC workers, the police on duty, the orphanages, the old age homes, transgenders, everybody and anybody whom we see actually on the road in need of food. We are trying to educate them how to maintain social distancing. What is this virus actually? What is it about? Because that's the main challenge that people are facing today. They don't realize the magnitude of this disease. At the same time, we are also catering to their monthly groceries to people who can cook by themselves but don't have the means to provide for themselves. So we are catering to that segment of people as well. So it is a huge challenge. We've deployed 3 cars and we've got our set of social volunteers who are selflessly working day in and day out to ensure that no one sleeps hungry.
Right, that's the larger idea, isn't it? People like yourself looking out for those around you, making sure that no one has to struggle to get their daily meals. And it's interesting that you talk about how you're also educating, creating awareness among people for those who may not have the correct information. Remember, in the case of a pandemic, having the right information again is critical. Often people are misled, they do not have the correct awareness about how to prevent the disease. So I'm really glad to hear there, Mr. Premal Shah, that you are taking this effort and this initiative also to create awareness. If I can go back to Mr. Shivkumar, who's joining us from Bangalore, I want to ask you, Mr. Shivkumar, at this stage, in your case, you are using a temple kitchen to cook. So, one can just understand by default, the hygiene would be absolutely spot on. Is there any other challenges that you face, because this is a time when there are a lot of restrictions? Are the authorities cooperating with you? How many people exactly are involved in the process of, cooking and distributing and delivering these meals to the needy?
Let me address you. Regarding the hygienic conditions are concerned, we follow perfect procedures at every level. Starting from at the entry level itself. The people, they have to wash their hands, they have to sanitize, then wear the mask, they have to come with the mask only, and they have to have the gloves. Then before entering, now they have to make sure that their temperature is checked and they are free from all the ailments. Then only they will be allowed, number one. Regarding the cooks, there are 1 dozen cooks. They work in 2 shifts. The morning, suppose 6 members are working in the morning, and evening, the remaining will participate in cooking procedure. And there also, perfect hygienic conditions, washing the kitchen twice a day, again sanitizing on a daily basis. Then the procedure of a kitchen, separate kitchen and separate area for getting the vegetables and all. And also for when once the food is brought out, then the set of volunteers, around 10 to 15 volunteers, which are the food is placed on the tables in a big pans, and that will be attended again following the distances. That is, they also have to take it all hygienic precautions. So on this basis, we make the pockets, and then they are sealed, they are segregated, they are counted, they are stacked in 2-3 places, again following all precautionary measures. Then this will be brought outside and that will be carried away by our volunteers. Volunteers in the sense, now our own colleagues who have come forward, they take the things in their own cars to the areas which have been specified already, you highlighted. And there in the field also, again, we have got some more volunteers. there also it is not overcrowding. It is not lining up. There to their place, one by one, that is from each family, they will come with a bag, they will collect their required number. For example, one family of 4 members. They will pick up 4 pockets and they will go. So there also we follow every the restriction what is necessary for the prevention of the disease. So in this way, by 10:30, our pockets of
Right.
7,500 in the morning are ready. By 11:30, they are being taken away from here. The same way by 4:30, their second set of food is ready and they will be dispersed in the field. So in a daily basis, it is 15,000 food pockets. And all the initiatives now they have been
Right.
initiated
And that's
by
a big
our,
number.
the
That
president of-
it is indeed. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, and
Yes.
therefore, this
No,
must
we
be,
don't find any
yes, this
hurdle.
must be applauded. The way you have explained to us the number of challenges that are there. It's very easy to just think about a community kitchen where food is prepared, but it's extremely difficult to think about, the kind of precautions that have to be taken, keeping in mind the pandemic. Each and every person involved in the process will have to stringently follow all the precautions, because again, this can be risky as well. Human interface or human interaction has to be minimized. So despite all these difficulties, someone like you doing this kind of work, helping out people in a city like Bengaluru, it's extremely important that public participation of this nature and common citizens pitching in also happens along with the government initiatives. Dr. Johl, when you are operating in Ludhiana, if I can ask you, to what extent is the government doing their bit? Because from your perspective, since you would have had wide experience of dealing with people, what are the challenges there in Ludhiana? Is the government doing enough in combating the pandemic in Ludhiana and Punjab in general?
See, when it comes to government, they are cooperating with us fully, including the civil administration as well as the police. Because we distribute this food through the ministers, they are always present on the distribution center. This is one thing. To what extent they are themselves doing, I think the Punjab is suffering from the financial strains, and it is mostly the NGOs and the people who are coming up, and administration is the only facilitating a limited amount in that sense. But they are doing to the best of their ability, they are doing it. But for us, fortunately, we are doing it for the last 25 years, not today. And we had the infrastructure, and therefore for us there was no difficulty immediately to increase it. At present, we have 4 ships continuously working with us for 18 to 19 hours, and we have 25 helpers, and we have vans which can move to the areas. We can even cater to more number of if demand comes. So it is daily, in fact, increasing. So this is our system is such that we have been already prepared for this. We didn't know it because of the sudden, you can say, calamity which has come up, but we have matched up to that. So there's no problem in that.
Right. Yes, and what is important is you're catering to elderly, you're catering to destitute children. What you were mentioning, these are the vulnerable groups. While you are doing so, you're also maintaining utmost precaution, and that is something, again, we are highlighting is so critical here. A lot of civil citizen groups, a lot of these communities coming together to help out. I want to give the last word to Mr. Premal Shah, who operates out of Mumbai. When you are operating around the city, are there any particular challenges that you are facing? And also tell us a little bit about how you manage to mobilize funds for a venture like this. Often people would want to do stuff, but they may feel that, well, we have the constraint of funds. So how do you work that part out?
Yes, I'll address the latter part first. So funds is of course a huge challenge, but we have enough friends and family who've spread the good word, of the work that we are doing, and God willing, so far we've managed to do our bit, where people have come forward across various categories, and they've said that we would like to do our bit for the good work that letsallhelp.org is doing. So we are managing that. Also, it's an online platform where we are basically requesting people to come forward and donate towards the underprivileged. So that bit is, with God's grace, being taken care of. Addressing the first part of challenges, it is a huge challenge in a city like Mumbai, because the major issue is that people don't really understand the magnitude or what this virus or the pandemic is. So educating them is a huge challenge. We are hand in glove with the local authorities and also the cops, who are trying their level best to keep people indoors, trying to explain them that this is a very grave and serious situation and can get out of control very easily. Having said that, I think we have done a fantastic job given the population and the slums that we have here in Mumbai. So I think everyone is doing their bit.
Yes.
All the synergies are basically aligning to ensure that this is over with as soon as possible.
Right, because you need a lot of things to come together. Of course, you require labor, you require funds. So to put together something like this and to cater to a city like Mumbai, and you said that you actually cater to this area from Juhu to Borivali, and what I found interesting is how you mentioned about catering to the transgender. That was one area we at Mirna were also focusing, that often these communities are forgotten. Would you like to speak about that in particular, your experience in catering to these communities?
Yes, absolutely. So when we started, we were predominantly catering to the regular orphanages, old age homes, destitutes, people on the roads, BMC workers, and the word spread. And we started getting calls from different communities. One of them being the transgender community and the sex workers. And I was really amazed to hear the kind of situation they were in. And my team physically verified. So Malavni is one area in Malad where there is a patch which is having this kind of transgenders out there, and we verified. We went there, and on a regular basis now we are catering to their needs, providing them not only the meals but also the grocery which can last them for at least a month, and help them during the lockdown. Now we have a similar patch in Thane Bhivandi area who's approached us, and we are trying to do our bit for that area as well, that locality as well. So we are trying as much as we can do given the situation and also the mobility.
Yes, so that is the reason why we are bringing out these stories, because this inspires others as well. And while we see things around us, we often don't observe, like you have observed, that these are communities that are left out. The transgender, the sex workers, they need their 2 square meals as well, and they're often left in dire straits. I appreciate your joining us, Mr. Premal Shah, as also Dr. Johl and Mr. Shivkumar, for joining us and sharing your stories. The reason why we do this is to appreciate and applaud your efforts. While we appreciate the COVID warriors, we also need to applaud the common citizens, the civil citizen groups who are running these kind of philanthropic initiatives to help out the poor and the needy, lending a helping hand where there is none. Thanks for joining us today on Inspire India, and I thank all my guests for giving us their time.